Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com, as well as the YouTube channel and NoDQ&A videos affiliate, ringsidenews.com. We are coming up close to the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, just over a week away. Got more of your questions from twitter.com/AaronRift. First one today comes from Roger Ortiz. Are Bray Wyatt and Fight Owens fight dark horses to win and become WWE World Heavyweight Champion? Please answer in video. I would say that they are dark horse candidates at best. I am guessing one of three people will win the Royal Rumble this year. Triple H, either as a surprise or he will be announced on the final Raw before the pay-per-view. Roman Reigns successfully retaining the WWE title. Or Brock Lesnar as a result of Roman Reigns getting screwed over by Triple H. I do think that Kevin Owens and Bray Wyatt will have high-profile matches at WrestleMania. I could see Undertaker going against Kevin Owens and Brock Lesnar going against Bray Wyatt, with Triple H and Roman Reigns as the main event at WrestleMania. But one of them winning the Rumble, I think, is highly unlikely. I really feel anybody other than the three people I mentioned, I think, would be highly unlikely for any of those guys to win the Royal Rumble. It would be a huge shock to me personally. I got this question here from Kyle on YouTube. Hey Aaron, do you think The Rock versus Randy Orton would be a good match if it were to take place? Please answer in video. If The Rock was available to wrestle again at a pay-per-view like a WrestleMania, I would definitely do that match if both guys were available, and I would do it at WrestleMania if you had the option to do that match. But I really don't see that match happening. I think that with Randy Orton's injuries, the likelihood of him being around and The Rock being available to wrestle and that happening around WrestleMania time, the odds are very much against that happening. I would like to see it though. I think of potential opponents for The Rock if he was to wrestle again. Randy Orton would be at the top of the list. The idea of third generation star versus third generation star. I would love to see that match happen, but I really feel it's a long shot right now for that match to ever take place. Alright, got this one here from Marvelous. If WWE was to clear Daniel Bryan, assuming he'd be at 110%, what role would you see him having at WrestleMania 32? Versus Lesnar, perhaps. I'm not sure why so many people bring up the idea of Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar. To me, that would be a huge mistake. Let's say, for argument's sake, that Daniel Bryan was cleared to wrestle. Do you really want to put him in there with Brock Lesnar, a guy who is very physical, he does all the suplexes, and you have a guy like Daniel Bryan who has gotten hurt on several occasions? Is it really a wise move? If Daniel Bryan does come back, he's going to need to tone down his style and take less risks. Putting him in there with Brock Lesnar isn't exactly the wisest idea. I think it would be an interesting match, David versus Goliath. I mean, you have that dynamic, but I just feel, once again, the odds are against that match ever happening. It's a long shot. I think fans will continue to dream about the idea of that match, but realistically, I would not even go with that match, even if Daniel Bryan was cleared to wrestle again. Alright, this one comes from Matthew James. Charlotte and Becky Lynch have said in interviews they would like to main event Mania, but should the Divas main event WrestleMania? We are very far away from that ever becoming a reality or even considered to be an option for WrestleMania. Right now, the Divas revolution has stalled quite a bit, and I feel that you would need several years of serious momentum to even consider that match. I've brought up the idea before, the idea of a Divas match headlining WrestleMania. The only way I ever see that happening is if you have a diva that gets so hot that she is a major superstar, the female John Cena, and you have somebody like Ronda Rousey available, and you can do that kind of match for WrestleMania. That's the only way I ever see a Divas match realistically being the featured match at WrestleMania. Alright, this one comes from Grant Peoples. Is it me, or do you think that Finn Balor is a better heel than a face? I disagree with the idea that he's a better heel than a face. I think that with Finn Balor, it's all about his high-flying ability, and He's got the look that is very appealing to kids. You know, I talked about this before. I think he's very marketable with the face paint and doing the action figures and the video game characters. And I think it's just the type of character that is very appealing to a young audience and kids. And I mean, he's got the mass appeal, of course. He's got the appeal to adults because he's a great wrestler. And I'm not so sure that his promos would be good enough as a heel. I mean, I'd really have to see how he performed on the mic as a heel to really make a full judgment call on whether or not he would be an effective heel. Looking at Jeff Hardy, to me, Jeff Hardy never worked well as a heel because he's a natural underdog. He does all the high-flying moves, which gets the pops from the fans. And he just wasn't all that good on the mic. And I see Jeff Hardy and Finn Balor as very similar personalities. Alright, this one comes from The Undertaker Guy. Does Vickie deserve to go into the Hall of Fame and join Eddie Guerrero? I think Vickie rightfully does, especially with WrestleMania in Texas. Please answer in video. I would be totally fine with that. I think that Vickie Guerrero was one of the best heels of the last 7-8 years. I was watching back some of the WWE pay-per-views from 2008, and the heat that she got was just unreal. She came out there, and the crowd was just so loud with the boos, and all she had to say was "excuse me," and the place would be booing her out of the building. She played that heel role so well. She was given the ball to play that character as Edge's love interest, and she totally ran with it. She did so well. And she was really a very entertaining character as a heel. I think she should go into the Hall of Fame. I think she was one of the best heels of the past 7-8 years. And she was one of those characters that could just generate that kind of heel heat. It was really unbelievable how well she did. Alright, this one comes from 420 Guy. Wonder who his favorite wrestler is. With NXT's success in England, should WWE be encouraged to bring back Rebellion and Insurrection as WWE Network specials? Please answer in video. I would be totally fine with that idea. I do like the idea of WWE doing network specials from the UK. The NXT one worked out really well, and I know fans in the UK want to see more high-profile events in their area. So why not? Why not bring back some of the UK specials? I mean, that would be a great way to bring back Insurrection and those pay-per-views as network exclusives. I think that would be a tremendous idea. I would definitely consider doing that if I was WWE. Alright, this one comes from Connor. Please answer in video. Who do you prefer, Bobby Heenan or Paul Heyman? That is a really tough one. I think as an overall performer and entertainer, I would go with Bobby Heenan. Bobby Heenan was a great manager. He was a great commentator. I do feel that Bobby Heenan was a better commentator than Paul Heyman, but Paul Heyman as a promo guy selling a serious match, I mean, they're very different in a way. Bobby Heenan was more about comedy and being comic relief. With Paul Heyman, he was more of a serious character, him being the advocate for Brock Lesnar, coming out there and selling people on pay-per-views and selling the idea that Brock Lesnar is this monster and you have to tune into the pay-per-view to see him destroy someone. With Bobby Heenan, it was more about telling jokes and just being an all-around entertainer. So it's really tough because both guys are two of the best talkers in the history of the business, bar none. So it's just a matter of what the criteria is. If you're going for comedy, Bobby Heenan. If you're going for a more serious approach in terms of cutting promos and selling tickets, then I would go with Paul Heyman. Alright, this one comes from Daniel. Hello Aaron, longtime viewer. Do you think WWE will ever bring back WrestleMania back to Los Angeles in the future? Please answer in video. Absolutely. Now that the news is out that the St. Louis Rams are moving back to Los Angeles and the new NFL stadium is going to be built, that will definitely be a period once that stadium is finished that WWE will likely be bringing back WrestleMania to Los Angeles. It's just a matter of when the stadium is finished. And from what I've read, 2019 is the target date. So maybe 2020, we could see WrestleMania back in Los Angeles at the new NFL stadium. I think I think it's going to happen. It's not a matter of if, but when. It's just a matter of when the stadium is finished. 2020, 2021, somewhere around there, I think we'll see WrestleMania in Los Angeles again. Alright, this one comes from Dominic. Hey Aaron, first time asker, what would be your dream stadium or area to host a WrestleMania? I would say, in terms of area, I would say Portland, Oregon, because I love that city. It's one of my favorite places in the entire United States. I think it's a beautiful city, and that would give me a good reason to travel up there if WrestleMania was held in Portland. I would just like to see it back in the Pacific Northwest. I know WWE has not really been crazy about the idea of going back there because of the WrestleMania 19 pay-per-view buy rate being disappointing. But WrestleMania 19 was one of my favorite WrestleMania shows in Seattle. So anywhere in the Pacific Northwest, I would love to see WrestleMania be held again. But specifically, Portland, Oregon. Alright, that'll wrap it up for this edition of NoDQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Share it on Facebook and Twitter and other social media sites. Keep spreading the word about NoDQ&A video. And I will see you guys next time for more.